Çok kısa Türkçe konuşacağım. Ben buraya misafir olarak gelmiyorum artık. Böyle. Buranın ev sahibi olarak geliyorum. Ama uzak bir yerden geliyorum. İzmir'den geliyorum ki uluslararası olsun burası diye. Böyle. Geçen sene burada 2 tane İtalya konuğumuz vardı. Onlara epey zorlamıştık. Şimdi bakalım Hindistan ne yapacak? Hindistan'ın İnegöl'le imtihanı diyoruz. And we have 2 distinguished guests. I had 2 Italian guests last year here. I mean, I was in the same position. And probably, I mean, we don't see any Italians anymore. And they are very close, old, good friends since last night. And we shared a nice dinner, we shared a nice breakfast together. And if you can share your food, you can share your thoughts as well. And what is behind all of this Inegöl design? There are people. I mean, if we talk about design furniture, Inegöl, this and that, I mean, behind everything there are people. And now we have 2 distinguished guests from India to talk about design. And it's probably Hardik Gandhi will start first. Please.
Thank you. Oh, that's...
Let you.
Good morning, Turkey. Yeah. I would like to thank each and everyone sitting here and for the warm welcome. I would like to thank the organizers. I would like to thank students. I would like to thank the speakers, everyone. So thanks for inviting us all the way from India. So, yeah, I'm a furniture designer and I specialize in furniture. So what happens in India when it comes to furniture? So as he has mentioned that, India is one of the fastest growing country when it comes to design. And we are also capturing the modern side of it. At the same time, we are also appreciating the craft. We believe that design is one of the key drivers in the country, in such a populated nation where design can be the key solutions. And when it comes to furniture, we would like to experience more and more design in our decor. So I've been practicing design since 15 years, and what I realized that my design sensibilities, it's a mix of both, global as well as local. So I call it glocal, where I find design being the very universal solution. So I've been designing furniture, products, packaging, interiors, branding, and so on. So this is how the Indian furniture market looks like. And this is one of the important slides, I would say, because it talks about business and how design can be the key driver. So typically, India has 5 segments when it comes to furniture. Luxury segment, premium, mass premium, mid segment, and low. So as you can see, the red one, the mass premium and the mid segment, that's the most upcoming and the growing segment because it provides almost 33,000 CR. That's a huge amount. So what are the strategic opportunities for a nation like Turkey? How can they contribute and become a collaborator with India? Is because of the globalization, India has seen a lot of growth because of Indian middle class. Now it's going one ladder up. And they are also investing in experience-based design. We also have only 15% of the market which is organized. So 85% of the market which is local, which is not so organized. So when it comes to design, we have the opportunity to increase the percentage and go to the next ladder. Indian population has a lot of aspirations. They have good credit systems available so they can buy furniture on EMI basis, and everyone's going towards mass premium. So when it comes to these 5 segments, I would like to touch upon three major segments, which is luxury slash premium, mass premium, and mid segment. So I have two case studies for each of these styles. One is eclectic, another is haptic, and third is democratic. Eclectic. This is probably one of my favorite styles because when you're not working for any clients or any specific design brief, you have your own design brief and you always come up with a lot of crazy ideas, just like students. Then you filter, and then you come with something which is more practical. So basically, eclectic style is an expression where you get inspired from nature or some sort of diverse range of sources. I love sketching. Sketching is something which I've been doing since I was a kid, and that's why I could see myself in the design field at a later stage. So, yeah, in my free time, I came with this idea where I sat in one of these places in open garden, and I saw a lot of people gather around the tree, and I saw a lot of interaction, engagement, exchanging ideas. And people also used to read next to the tree, so I thought, let's use this as a metaphor or eclectic style and make a furniture out of it. So I started using a lot of materials, MDF, paper, metal, and a lot of stationaries, and built a bookshelf out of metal. This is what it looks like. So it is called knowledge tree. Knowledge, it is the most important element of our lifestyle. We always gain so many success through in-depth knowledge in our life. So in our case, the knowledge comes from books. So here, the books are used or placed in this bookshelf, which is also used as a room divider or a space divider. And it is modular, so each module, you can place it in different way, and you can form a tree around it. So imagine a garden where you have these multiple trees in the garden, and then people are coming to read and exchange ideas, and it becomes almost like a community space where you can learn from each other. I have the same thing at my home as well, where on a very relaxed Saturday, Sunday afternoon, where you don't have much to do, and then you just pick up a book and surround yourself with nature, music, art, and a lot of love. A lot of my clients also picked up one for the study room. So imagine that this also going to the kids' room, where kids are also learning a lot from the books. It's also gone to a lot of art galleries. It's gone to different exhibition space. So the other beauty is you can stick notes on the surface. So it also becomes a reminder on your day-to-day life because it's magnetic. The surface is made of metal, so you can stick notes on paper. Yeah. Like I said, I love sketching, and this is another style called eclectic. I also love music. I am a regular visitor to a lot of music festivals which happens in India, and next is Tomorrowland very soon. But yes, what I'm saying is music is something which I get inspired in my day-to-day life. And the other day I was just, again, sketching, and I thought of this idea that how can you integrate music with furniture and make it slightly trendy and eclectic. So this is a side table which is inspired from trumpet, and it has a very modern and trendy and sleek look. And what is the great part about this is it's inspired from jazz, where you can also play jazz music, where you can use the surface on top of that, where you can put your phone and you can play music. You can also use as a side table next to your seating. You can also hang your headphones on those pegs. So you can imagine this one table which can become almost like a companion for your music, that once you come back from work or anywhere outside, and this becomes your a companion where you can talk to. You can also charge your phone. So this is the personality I was talking about, where where you have a very clean and very soothing space, and suddenly you have this nice little piece of furniture which is so eclectic, and it becomes your companion. The second style is haptic. This has nothing to do with technology, but what I love is, haptic is all about touch. How can we experience touch as one of the greatest senses? So, as you know, India is known for handicrafts, and like here, we've visited 3 to 4 mosques in a couple of days. Similarly, we go to temples in India where it has a very distinct architecture style. And at the same time, I also saw some of the craft being developed in one of the regions in South India, which is called Hampi, where they use banana fiber as one of the craft materials. So what they do is, they make bags, floor mats, and a lot of accessories. And what I meant by haptic is, they actually use their hands to, make these objects and accessories. So that is what I'm talking about, that how the moment you use your hands, I think you can create, great products. And this material has a lot of advantages. So what they do is they have this banana trees, and they use the trunk, and they dry it for a few days. It goes through a certain process, and they make yarns out of it, and those yarns are woven in so many different patterns. It's almost like we use cane and rattan for weaving, similar style. So I ended up making bags, which was inspired from the same, location, the geography, which is the step well over there. And I used this metaphor in some of the objects. So I ended up making a bag out of it. And then I thought that, this craft material is so unique, I should use this in furniture. So when it comes to furniture, I always try and look at something which is not very routine, not very usual. I always try and add a lot of fun, a lot of unique features. And I thought of using this material along with metal, and this chair became a multi-utility chair where it can be used in 2 different positions. So left side is which you use for relaxed seating, and when you want to lounge, you can flip it, you can turn the chair, and it becomes a lounger. That's how it is. So it's a seating come lounger, and you just have to flip it. So if you look at the surface, that's made of the banana fiber, the woven material, which took almost 10 days to weave this chair. So this is what I'm talking about, haptic nature or the haptic style. When you sit on the chair, you actually feel the material. And that's very important when it comes to design, where you have the opportunity to interact with it. Again, on the similar style, I designed one more chair for one of the design competitions in India, where I was looking at a very basic range of chairs, which can be used in multiple areas like dining and living and so on. So I designed this entire range, which is, the chair has, again, the woven surface, but in this case, it's cotton yarns, and it is not craft. But yeah, we can use banana fiber for the surface. So here the beauty is the entire range is made of metal plus cotton yarns. And the features, if you see, typically in India, we have this habit of cleaning the floor with broom. So there's a lot of problem, while someone is, using the chair near the dining table. So we thought of, how can you resolve this issue or a problem? And, so this chair, it can be hung on the dining table. So you can lift it and hang it. Or at the same time, you can stack it, so it saves space. And very important hidden feature, I would say, is when you sit, you get these natural flex because it's made of metal. So when you sit, it gives you the suspension feeling. So again, it adds a lot of comfort without using high-tech technology. So these are the small, small details which I always try and enjoy in the design, which is very seamless, very discreet, and something which is not literally seen from the naked eyes. Yeah, so you can see different settings, how one design can be given to so many other areas. It could be living room, it could be dining, it could be your open space with using different materials. So using the same weaving technique in the cotton yarn, you can see that how it can, it looks very expressive and again very haptic. It has a very nice tactile feel to it. And naturally, when you sit on the natural material, which is cotton, it has a very soothing feeling to it. Last but not the least, and this is probably one of my favorite styles, and right now I always feel that India needs democratic solutions when it comes to design. So what exactly democratic design is? Where you design something which can be used for everyday and affordable and good quality. So this is what Indian household looks like, where I don't know whether you know that, but being an Indian, we literally hoard a lot of things in our cupboards. We have so many things dumped, stuffed, and this is something which we grew up with, and we kind of enjoy this. That it kind of gives you mental satisfaction that I have so many things in my cupboard. So when I study this, one of my earlier clients, they told me that you have to design a cupboard which can be used for maximum Indian population possible. And I said, yeah, why? They said, yes, there's a lot of opportunity, and we being Indian, we like to store a lot of items and objects. So when I did my user research, this is what I came up with. Then what is the life is all about when it comes to storage, and what are the different or the typical solutions what Indians are looking for when it comes to purchasing a furniture. So these are the slides, the points rather, which talks about that when you want to celebrate, especially during festival season, people buy furniture. When you want to show some sort of status symbol, people buy furniture. When you see a value in design, people buy furniture. And when that design adds some sort of experience in your space, that's the time also people buy furniture. And it has to be more functionality driven, because right now I'm talking about democratic design, where functionality plays a major role. And when it comes to buying the furniture, it's a complete cohesive decision, because the entire family gets involved, that husband, wife, kids, other family members, because furniture is actually an investment. So my client told me that you have this material out of which you have to design a cupboard. I said, yeah. So these is actually sheet metal coils, which is made in so many different sizes. So when you unroll this, it becomes flat sheet metal. So this material, why? Because this material has amazing qualities. One is mild steel. It's sustainable. It can be recycled. It is maintenance-free. It is affordable. It is accessible. And at the same time, in 2020, people are looking for a lot of cool designs. Metal can be also used for making cool designs, and something which is more universal. So when I did my studies, of course, I visited the market and I saw that what are the different things what people are looking for from this design. These are the things. It should be modular. It should be adaptive to different age group. It should be sturdy enough. It should be utility-driven. It should be cool, knockdown, value for design. It should have various options when it comes to configurations. So I typically, go to the shop floor, and a lot of times I experiment without any design brief in my mind. Then, let's see what all possibilities you have when it comes to design, how this material behaves. So I came with these three beautiful textures. One is debossing, another is corrugation, and third is perforation, which is completely out of sheet metal. So when I experimented, this pattern became a very unique feature on the shutter surface. And like in India, we celebrate colors. We like very vibrant colors, reds and yellows and pinks and blues and greens. So, of course, we wanted to cater to the maximum people. And another thing in Indian market is we are totally very diversified countries, where what you see in North India and what you see in South India, it's completely different when it comes to the preferences. So we wanted to capture the maximum market by providing different color scheme for different regions. And this was the first concept that I came up with. Then, it should act like more than a cupboard or more than a wardrobe or more than a storage. What else you can do in your day-to-day life? How can you provide a value by which people can be more disciplined, more organized, and at the end of the day, they should feel happy about it. So this is called dot wardrobe. It has these texture which I showed you in the earlier slide, and you can use these pegs on the surface, which can be used for hanging your next day shirt when you want to go for the meeting, or you can hang your accessories, or you can hang your headphones, and a lot many other objects. It came in various colors. So this was two-door. And when it comes to democratic, we always focus a lot on the manufacturing processes and cost of production. Because finally, when you want to cater to the 65% of the population in India who's looking for democratic design, functionality and price plays a major role. So you have to focus on what should be the cost of production and what's the MRP of the product. So you can see that first and third, that is available at $199 US. So, sorry, I don't know what's the conversion in lira, but yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is something so affordable. And in first year, we sold almost 500 units. Then we extended the range. We made it three-door with mirror, with overhead units, and lot many other. We also added the kids range, where it comes in a shorter height, and typically kids like to play a lot of games. So what we did that, we use this tic-tac-toe on the surface. So in their free time, they can actually use these magnetic pegs, and they can use this tic-tac on the surface. So understanding the material properties that you can use magnet and you can use certain fixtures on the surface which can help you to build this experience for the end user. And then list goes on because then we had this multiple configuration: 4-door, 3-door, 8 doors, chest of drawers, TV units, and you can think of any storage solution possible. You have that. So this is what I meant by democratic. That it has to be a platform-based design. So where you have one idea and then it can build the entire range. There was this another chair project. This is my last case studies in democratic design, where we wanted to launch a $20 chair in Indian market, which is primarily made out of metal. So when we studied the market, you have many options. You have plastic chairs. You also have a lot of knockoff version of international designs. But we being Indian designers, how can you make something which is completely designed in India, made in India, celebrated in India, sold in India, and probably to the entire world later on. So these are the complete chart that it should be lightweight, one should be able to stack it. So the way you have these chairs right now, I mean, imagine if you want to design a chair for these kind of audiences or this kind of space, what all will you think of? So this was on the similar line that it should be vertically stacked, it should follow certain design language, it should be a platform design, and it should be more adaptive, and most importantly, it should be around $20 to $25. So again, I studied the market, and I realized that these kind of chairs, it is so universal. It's not necessary. It's meant for only residential purpose. It could be for cafeterias. It could be for homes. It could be for co-working or co-living spaces. And when you have some sort of vision or mood board in mind, what are the things you can expect from this design? So it should be more tactile, it should be more seamless, it should be lightweight, and so on. So yeah, again, I started my sketching practice and came with a couple of ideas, and then finally I had to align my design style with their existing products. So the one which is highlighted in the red, that was one of the first sketch which I made for side elevation. And I thought that, yeah, this looks like a complete, language. This is the design. It is 3 kilo in weight. It has minimum material. It has, stackability option. It also serves or gives so many other options for the seat. So it could be in the sheet metal surface. It could be on the wooden surface. It could be on the upholstery surface, the way you're sitting right now. So the frame remains the same, but you can play with the different textures and the surfaces for the seat. Then we extended, and now we have 3 versions, starting from sheet metal, which is $21, then the wooden version seat, which is $24, and the upholstered seat, which is $27. So you can imagine now this hall can be filled with this chair. It could be as good as this price or this design, but it's slightly more modern. And it has various options as well, and it looks sleek and universal. So we started, experimenting with a lot of fabrics and textures, and we use these waterproof fabrics so that it can be used for dining surfaces, dining activities. We used reclaimed wood. This is not something which you directly purchase from the market. You get these reclaimed wood from the licensed vendors who can provide from their used stocks. And then it goes in different settings, and this is what I was talking about. So this has the power of filling the entire hall, where you see that this chair is probably as sleek because you can see through, right? And it gives a very light and very warm feeling, and at the same time very cost effective. And this was used by many famous designers. So when this event happened in India, right from...
In 1 minute,
yeah,
will be using his time. So
I'm done. There's the last slide.
I'll not interfere. You deal with the situation.
Yeah. So yeah. Then we added the casters. So you can imagine, you can think of so many possibilities. And we didn't stop there. We thought that let's add... So this is my second last slide, where we added Tetra Pak as one of the surfaces for the seat. So what we usually do is, we get these lot of Tetra Pak in the market. It goes to the recyclable machine, and then you make board out of it, and this is what it looks like. So you can imagine, this surface looks so eclectic, so democratic, and very sensorial. And you can proudly say that this chair is 100% recyclable without using any toxic materials. Yeah. So yeah, that's my last slide. So as a designer, this is what I strongly feel that, we being industrial designer or furniture designer, our focus should be, and especially we have a lot of students in the audience, that, we should definitely build something which is, which matters to the people, to the planet, by using responsible materials and processes. And at the same time, we have a lot of industries, so we should also use something which gives you a lot of profit. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hardik. We'll take the questions after the second presentations, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm collecting. And now it's Kedar's turn.
Yeah, I promise I'll keep it short. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's been a wonderful, couple of days in Turkey, and really appreciate the hospitality that was shown to us. And yeah, thank you for the organizers, the event, and it's been a wonderful experience so far. So like I said, I'll keep it very brief so that it allows us to address some questions. So I'll just breeze through the presentation. The overview of the presentation is I'm going to talk briefly about the culture of India, which we realize happens to be very similar to how Turkey is, which is culturally very rooted. So I'll talk about India, then I'll talk about briefly about the furniture market in India, and what sort of opportunities this market allow us to sort of get into. So, as we know that India has been a home to one of the oldest and most influential civilization. It was very prosperous at one point of time. It was ruled by Maharajas. There was opulence everywhere, and the work that used to happen was not exactly for the living. It was basically a self-expression. So cultural diversity, spirituality, and things like subtler aspects in life found expression. So we had a very robust structure in which dance forms originated. Music, we are all aware that India is very famous for the different styles of music. And Ayurveda, which today happens to be the center of a lot of international attractions, originated in India. Of course, then there was art and architecture, which again India is very well known for. And all this found expression because of the opulence that was there. And more importantly, what is more relevant to us today is crafts. For centuries, Indian artisans have been quietly translating these simple objects into a symbol of rich cultural heritage. So over the years, we have 2,000 plus craft forms that have flourished. And essentially, the reason being all the four corners of India, you see distinct geographical differences. The climates are different, the languages are different, the culture, so to say, is different. So, what happened because of this is several different craft forms individually in those respective areas flourished. So we'll look at a bunch of them, and we'll get down to the furniture ones. So in the north of India, which the climate is very similar to what you have here in Turkey, so crafts like wood carving were very famous. Then also tarakashi, which essentially is a metal wire inlay in solid wood. So that's something that's well known for. On the other hand, on the eastern side of India, there's a lot of bamboo plantations. So everything that you see in daily household, it's all to do about bamboo. Be it the way the furniture, the decor, even daily objects, you will see pretty much heavy usage of bamboo and rattan. In the west, which is Rajasthan and Mumbai, what you see is stone inlay, semi-precious stone inlay. There is also hand-painted furniture that grew, which is also called miniature painting. Down south, there are various crafts like metal on metal inlay. So what you have here in the form of bidri is it's a black metal, and there's a silver inlay on the black metal. And there are, like I said, 2,000 crafts. So that's a brief glimpse of how varied the crafts were. So what has happened over the years is because of the industrialization, the modern technology taking the center stage, and globalization, the buying patterns and the consumer themselves have changed a lot. And in the process, the crafts have lost their relevance because crafts essentially were objects which were meant to be used. But if you look at, or if you talk about crafts today, internationally, not just India, anywhere, crafts have become just objects which are lying in the corner of the household. So as designers, we think that it is our responsibility to touch upon these cultural aspects of the crafts and the culture and bring it back into the daily lifestyle. So which obviously means that you can't just make the objects that used to be there. You will have to adapt it to the modern lifestyle. So we'll look at a few examples of what we've done. So, like I mentioned, the lifestyle changed, the international exposure grew overall. Urbanization happened. People started moving from villages to the towns. The family structure, which essentially was, all the people used to stay together. Now you see a lot of nuclear families emerging because everyone's trying to move from a village to the town. spending power has significantly increased, and with that the buying patterns have also evolved. So just about 6 years or 5, 6 years back, nobody thought that furniture could be a commodity which could be sold online. But I can talk about India. Past few years, it's been phenomenal. So my last stint was with Pepperfry, which happens to be the largest e-commerce brand in the country. And when I started the project, the numbers really shook me up. So every day there were 100 sofas or 200 sofa sets that were getting sold online. So imagine, without touching, feeling the fabric, people just buy products which are, and these are not cheap products, these are expensive products. So that is a mind shift, that is the mentality that has changed in terms of the modern buyer. And the main reason for these things happening is the brand awareness. So people today, the moment there is a brand associated with the furniture or any object that you're basically retailing, there's a lot of reassurance that, hey, these guys know what they're doing, and I really can't go wrong if I pick one of these. So branding is another important aspect that has come into forefront. Let's look at the industry. I think Hardik has touched upon this already. So this is a phenomenal opportunity, the way to look at it is. It's a 30 billion USD market estimated number, and which is going to go as high as 61 billion. So that's a massive number. And by opportunity, I mean, if you look at the sector-wise segregation, only 15% is organized. So we say that in India, all the brands put together will not be in a position to cater to the requirement of the market. It is that big. So broadly, it could be broken into home, office, and hospitality. Home being contributing about 66% of the entire, the matrix. In the raw material usage, wood, panel board furniture contributes to around 65%, followed by metal and plastic. Like I was mentioning, the online market. So amongst the 15% of the market which is organized, only 2% belongs to the online retail market. So these are the brands that are the market leaders in the country. So what we've seen so far is crafts, which is the reflection of our culture, the technology, which is going to always push the limitations in terms of the machinery, the new products, the new materials that will be launched, and the market, which is there to be taken. So a combination of these three leads to a lot of opportunities for designers as well as manufacturers. So we've seen this word in Hardik's presentation also. So global is basically, you'll have to think global, look at the international landscape, but act locally. So it calls for a lot of adaptations and culturally relevant stories. So I'm going to breeze through a few designs that I have done over the past 15 years. Like I mentioned, Tarakashi, which is a fine inlay work of metal into solid wood. So these are typically, they used to be done in small boxes. So the scale used to be not more than about a foot. And we've actually blown up the entire craft to a scale of, say, about 7 feet. So, so this is how it looks. And if you notice the details, the center portion is all hand done. You basically don't have machines to sort of replicate the entire thing. It's all handwork. And on the other side, what you see on the corners, it's all laser inlaid. So it's a nice combination of technology as well as handcrafted furniture, and it's a blend of both. This is an interesting one. So we all know how potters basically make those, the vases. So this is a scale of around 6.5 feet. So we wanted to push the limitations of pottery, and this was done in China, a place called Jingdezhen. I'm not sure if I'm getting the pronunciation right, but yeah, it's basically known for the porcelain work. So there are these porcelain mountains, and the entire industry is around porcelain. So the crazy aspect about this is we've seen potters sitting outside, there's a wheel in front of them, and they throw the material and they make vases out of this. So in this case, the wheel is huge, the potter is actually on the wheel, and he is creating the vase because it is a 6 feet tall vase. So it's phenomenal. It just blew our minds the way it was done. So this happens to be just one piece of the entire thing. And also another interesting thing is the blue color that you see over here. When this was, when the artists actually paint these, there are no colors. It's all gray color. It's called slip. So for your naked eye, it's all gray painting that's happening. But once it goes in the furnace and comes out, you see a beautiful, gradation. So they actually imagine how it's going to come out after the process of heating. Another interesting project that I'd done was using Damascus steel. So we had an opportunity to design a sword as a memorabilia for a known personality. So we actually used the old forging technique and created an interesting sword around this. Ajrak is a craft based in Kutch in the western part of India. And yeah, that's one of the latest designs that we've launched under our studio. So the beauty about this fabric, it is 100% organic cotton, and the print that you see is all block printed, which is again 100% handmade, and even the dyes that are used are organic dyes. So all the various colors that are achieved, they are all 100% organic. So this is an attempt that we are trying to make, wherein if you see the aesthetics of the chair, it's very international. However, the fabrics that are used are something that talks about the story of the land. Bujori is another place which is in Kutch, and we've used a similar approach, wherein we've used the beauty of the fabric and we've translated them into modern products. Oops, stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's again 100% organic cotton, and the blue, the indigo, is all natural organic indigo. Weaves that was again a very primary craft, was also used in a very contemporary way, and this is our woven collection that we've launched. There are other brands who are doing something like this, and one aspect is you use the materials and you use it in a contemporary way. The other way that you can do is use the cultural aspects and create furniture around it. So in India, we usually, or rather used to, sit on the floor and eat. So even the postures while you eat were very thought through. So it's said that it is one of the most comfortable and convenient posture that we used to sit and eat in, and it happens to be one of the yoga postures as well. So we can look at certain cultural aspects into the lifestyle and create furniture around it. A few more examples about how design studios are using really interesting saris and these textiles that are available in the country and converting them into modern products. This is another architectural-based studio who's done some phenomenal work. And of course, like I was mentioning about the bamboo craft, so there's a conventional aesthetic around the bamboo craft, but we've broken away from those aesthetic, and what we see here is very modern. So in this transitional phase, wherein we are all looking at the West international landscape, and what is it that we as a design studio or a global brand have to offer? So furniture collection with cultural relevance is something that any designer would thrive if somebody does that. And also, as a designer, it sort of can be taken up as a responsibility to talk about the stories of the land, and through modern furniture or modern objects which can be used internationally. for a manufacturer or a global brand, like we've seen, the Indian market is huge, unorganized. There is an opportunity to enter the market as a big player. IKEA has done that already in India. There are several other luxury players who are already there and thriving. They're doing extremely well. So it's a huge market for such brands. Modular business, essentially into panel board furniture, has taken a significant step. So in fact, the way the houses are constructed now also keep into mind how the furniture is going to be designed, which is all the straight line modular furniture. And so it has a huge impact in the overall industry. The online furniture market has rapidly grown in the last 5 years. And personalized furniture solutions, which most of the e-commerce players are offering today. So there is a brand, and there is also a set of carpenters who will come to your place, who will measure up the entire thing and customize stuff for y'all. So it's customization with a brand experience. So that's something that is a huge opportunity for any brand. So I leave you all with this slide wherein, like we've seen that it's a phenomenal opportunity to enter the market and sort of adapt, collaborate, and grow together. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Namaskar. So we have two faces from India representing. I'll use the privilege of sitting here and ask the first question. Are designers happy in India? How happy are they? I mean, the conventional way is the economic and the social status of a designer. Or are you happy in India as being a designer?
Yeah, so broadly, there are two categories of designers. One who work in an industry, and one who straight up start their own design studios.
The in-house and the
yes,
freelance.
Yes. No, not the freelance, and the in-house. I'm talking about industries. So huge brands wherein you end up getting absorbed as a designer and you grow to a level of a head designer and then you sort of have a say in the industry. And the second is, as a student, you step out, you start your own, you get freelance projects, you set up your own studio and you grow. So there is a studio and there is an industry. Yeah. So in an industry, there is a limited scope, so to say, for design, because there are several larger aspects, which is the business, the marketing, and the sales, which sort of drives the designer.
And limitations.
And the limitations, of course. And on the other hand, as a design studio, there's a huge opportunity, but we all know designers come with their own set of limitations when it comes to business and the costing and all those things. So somebody who can balance the both, wherein good at design as well as understand or appreciate the business, they are thriving. So for that matter, I'll take my own example. I have got an industry experience of 13 years, and I got in as an intern in a factory.
In-house.
Yeah. And I grew to a level wherein my last stint, I was the design head. I was absorbed as a design head. And I introduced 3 in-house brands for the brand Pepperfry. So they are called white labels. So 3 brands I introduced to an extent that they allowed me to run the business. So I was responsible for the numbers. What are the sales? What is the portfolio you're looking at? What are the new emerging markets you're going to explore? Where are the new sourcing center points you're going to pick furniture from? All those aspects. Because I took that as an opportunity for learning these aspects, which would complete me as an entrepreneur. So after that, I stepped out and the studio is doing great. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy. And I know a bunch of designers who are doing really well and they're happy, yeah.
But it requires that experience and development process.
Yes.
Hardik?
Yeah, I would say there are opportunities and there's challenges both. So happiness is very subjective. If you enjoy challenges and if you just try to prove it on and on, so you always feel that you get the results. But what I would like to just touch upon some of the aspects. Currently, or probably last decade, I think India has become slightly more design-driven. Earlier, that was not the scenario. So right now, a lot of students are looking for design as a full-time career. So that brings in a lot of knowledge and understanding that how they being a designer then that contribute to the market or the society. So yeah, I'm definitely happy. He is happy. A lot of designers are happy, but then what I see that the happiness is slightly lesser at the younger generation because they find it challenging to find the right partner to collaborate with. Either it's studio or it could be industry. But yeah, initial years it's slightly challenging, but that as you have the experience, you're happy.
Like in life, happiness depends on
yeah, it's very
the partner.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it depends on your collaborators and whom you're surrounded by.
Cool.
Yeah. Evet, salonu da katalım.
Oh, here's the question.
Okay. I have a question about the cultures. And having known Indian culture since 1990s and visited India many times and China and Japan also, I mean, there's a huge culture and you just presented just a blink of it you could present. I'm wondering with the globalization, but globalization after the phase of this social media explosion, are we going to a direction that losing these cultures and becoming only one very simple culture all around the world? Or this social media event will let us learn more about cultures in India or other places? Are we having only one taste or can we present ourselves? What do you think? What is the future of the design?
You want to go first?
Yeah, globalization is definitely the a thanksgiving, I would say, the opportunity because people are at least getting aware of what design can bring to their life. So in a way, design is playing a major role when it comes to the culture and the design language. In my presentation, I showed various segments. So like I said, India is I think one of the most diversified countries in the world where what you see in north is completely not acceptable in south, or what you see in west is not acceptable in the east. What we are trying to bridge the gap as a designer is we are trying to make design accessible by the maximum population, which is roughly 65%, and that's where the market is opening, where we are addressing their needs, and being a designer, we are also trying to adapt to certain cultural elements which help them to own the furniture. Because what happens that for example if I travel to Turkey or Paris or Milan, I always get inspired, but when it comes to the conversion, probably I don't have the right budget, or in today's scenario, India is also very small country where so many people are living there, so I don't have space as well. So I'm trying to find the solution which is fitting in my budget, which has a very typical Indian aesthetics, but at the same time good quality and good price. So if we can tap into these aspects, I think there's a higher chances of acceptance, and does not matter whether it's Indian or so. Somewhere the globalization is in a way helping, and social media, like you said, yeah, people are getting inspired every day. So inspiration is always good. So we being designers are trying to bridge this gap of making it affordable, functional, practical, and good quality.
Yeah. So I would like to add something to it. So I mean, the point that you made is a very serious concern at some point. When the internet penetration started happening, all these culturally strong countries just wanted to ape what the Western world was doing, and there was, I think, it was a phase wherein everyone wanted to do what the European designers are doing. But I think that has settled down now. People have enough exposure in terms of what happens in the West, and now as a generation, this is an observation, a personal observation, having interacted with a lot of design students as well. People are now wanting to appreciate those nuances that differentiate us as a culture from any other culture. So it is not looked at as we against some other culture. It's about, this is us, let us just celebrate that. And in the best possible way, not losing the context. Like, we can't just take an existing craft and put it out there. It's not going to make any sense. But with the globalization, the economy is now ready. So if you make an object which is useful in today's economy, but it talks a story about our culture, I think that is a much more responsible way to sort of address both the issues. When you're not losing upon the cultural aspect and you're also in sync with the global trends. So I think it's a fine balance, and it's the skill of the designer which sort of should drive this as an approach for design.
Thank you. Bu konuda. Yani aslında siz sorduğunuzda tabii, now it's in Turkish. Şimdi mesela bu sahneye baktığımızda, evet, hangisi Hintli dediğimizde bunu işaret edebiliyoruz. Hangisi Türk dediğimizde bunu işaret edebiliyoruz. Konuşmada bile, yani İngilizce konuşma tarzımız bile farklı ve bu bir kimlik meselesi ve bu bir zenginlik meselesi. Yani bunu koruyabilirsek, şu sahneyi koruyabilirsek aslında, ya da mobilyada da bunu yaratabilirsek, ya da tasarımcılar buna yönelebilirlerse, yani hem dili koruyup böyle, hem kimliği hem kişiliği koruyup ya da yaratıp böyle, hem de bunu aynı sahnede, aynı ekonomi sahnesi, aynı dünya sahnesi, globalization, aynı dünya sahnesinde bunu yapabilirse o bir başarıdır diye düşünüyorum. Sanki tek bir zevke ittiriliyor ve aynı zamanda da direniyor. Yani. So we are almost done, right? I mean, Allah, bu soruyu sormazsam öleceğim diyeceğiniz soruyu alayım. Son soru.
There's one there.
We are seeing that the industry is going to grow almost twofold. So, but also we're seeing that the craftsmanship to make a furniture is taking a while. So, how the supply and demand is going to balance itself on this market?
So that's a very interesting question. Actually, it's a huge challenge. Where do you draw a line between a handcrafted piece of furniture versus completely machine-made furniture? And I think the government and bodies which will support the entire community has to take the lead here and create opportunities wherein the training of crafts have to happen, because what we've realized is there is a huge gap between the understanding of the craftsmen when it comes to the requirement of the industry. So they are the best in what they do, but when it comes to what the customer wants, there is a big gap. And the translation of the craft from one generation to other has sort of died down because there is no huge market for the craftsmen. So what we're trying to do is, through several projects, through educational institutes, we are making an attempt to sort of bring these crafts into the forefront, get a lot of craftsmen, create opportunities for the craftsmen so that the younger generation of the craftsmen want to learn that craft. So it's a long process. I think we are already in the process. People have identified that it's a critical thing wherein we would want to create something, but there are no craftsmen to create it anymore. And we've lost several crafts like those. So I think it is a responsibility of overall the brand or the designers to make sure that in whichever way possible contribute towards taking the craft ahead.
Aslında buraya çıktığımda şunu diyorum. Bilal Bey'e o hareketi yaptıracağım ben diye oturdum burada. Çünkü Bilal Bey'e o hareket de şu. Yani hadi hocam toparlayın artık. Bizim zamanımız da oldu. Başkalarından çalmayalım. I mean, there is a rich program following us. So let's not interfere with their time. And we thank you, both of you. I mean, you've come a long way and shared this nice environment with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you. Thank you.